Dimbaramis, are we ready to share ancient wisdom secrets on more ancient, visible, but seldomly seen life forms on Earth?
We are as ready as always,
Ernst.
Good day and a warm welcome to all of our Baramis Tower of Light friends out there over the globe watching this program right now. Welcome here in Volentalawa, South Africa. We are situated in Bloemfontein, South Africa, and the name of Volentalawa means, this is the name of our cabin, and it means place where you find peace of mind. So, today we share ancient wisdom secrets on visible reptilian races, visible DRACO'S, werewolves and vampires among us. Oh, can you imagine? Let me introduce us first. On my far right side is Bebazola. On this side is Nikita or Ibolama. Yeah, no other name is?
Yeliska.
Yeliska. What a beautiful name. I'm Ernst Jordan, or my other name is Eltizator, and this is my spouse Kobus or Porentel. Yep, today we share that ancient wisdom, but
please help us to help others like us by pressing the subscribe, like, share, as well as the little bell icon to be in line for more ancient wisdom secrets.
Ernst, can we please start with reptilians?
oh, we can and we will, Eliska. I think most viewers have heard about reptilian races here on Earth, but what you can tell them will help them to identify real reptilians in their different types among them. Thanks, Eliska. It's a very brilliant idea to start there. I think most of you have heard of the dozens of stories on the reptilian races living among us. Each dark side royal family has got its pure reptilians, which need no introduction. They are in the news daily. On television you can see them in person. As I have already explained in a previous program, there are pure light side kingdom representatives as royal families on Earth, and there are pure dark side kingdom representatives as royal families on Earth. Do not assume all reptilians to be dark side kingdom representatives. As of 2023, this year, there are 43 sovereign states in the world with a monarch as head of state. I do not think many people knows this. I didn't know that, did you?
No.
Yeah. I thought about 9, but not so many. Never assume the British royal family to be the only royal family on Earth. There are 42 additional royal families here on Earth. Now, reptilians are also referred to as reptoids, archons, reptioids, saurians, draconians, or lizard people. Where do most of them originate from?
Alpha Draco.
Alpha Draco, thank you so much. Actually, Alpha Draconis, but Alpha Draco is the name I know it also by, is one place some reptilian races originate from. Not all originated from Alpha Draconis, there are other places also. But Alpha Draconis is a binary star system in the modern constellation of Draco. Alpha Draco is also known as the pole star. Can you imagine all the Egyptian people, the pharaohs and the Ras and all those? Why were they so in love with the pole star? Because they originate from it, that is what. And I mean, if you take the Sphinx, and not the Sphinx, only the pyramids, what are they facing? What are all these internal things? Where do they lead to? If you break out, there's a specific lot of them that shows to the pole star. Now, where in the Bible do we read of reptilian races? Do you remember the story of Adam and Eve without naming the whatever where this really happens? Just remember the story. And remember that Eve, or the snake who seduced Eve, we had it in a previous program, who seduced Eve was a Shevim. What was his name? Catriel, or Gadrel in English. Not a snake sailing on its tummy. I mean, it's obvious. If you look at what that snake has to say to Eve, there's a place in some Bible translations, it reads something like this. Did he, referring to the Most High, did he not also said this and this and this? In other words, it shows us that conversation didn't start there. It started elsewhere. This is just a follow-up, because they have discussed it. Now, will an ordinary snake sailing on its belly be able to know more what's going in the Creator's mind, the Most High, than the humans that are supposed to be the crown of creation doesn't know? It's ridiculous. He was a Shavim. Let us share ancient wisdom secrets on reptilian people on earth. The creator of the Shavim, in other words, Catriel or Gadrel, who seduced Eve in paradise, was actually a fallen dark side Nephilim, who started a lineage on earth doing genetic implants on high developed Homo erectus and or Neanderthals. One of his offspring was a Votan from a region known as the Shevim. The name Votan means from the angels. Now in this case from the fallen dark side angels. The city that was erected by Votan was called Shevim. Shevim means region of the serpents. So what happened in paradise without mentioning too much of where it really happened? We learned that Adam was created by a God, the one God the church believe in, a Trinity God, but they believe it to be a one God. So he later saw that no, Adam was a little bit alone, so he made a very deep sleep to came upon Adam, and he took one of his rib bones, and out of that he prepared a female as a, what do you call it, a mate, a life mate, a friend or whatever, for Adam, who was so alone. And then came the snake, you know, in paradise, and here comes this snake now, and this conversation begin. You know, it's so horrifying actually to think of it, that there are still people out there imagining a snake to know more what's going on in God, the Most High, in his brain than the humans. I mean, really? Where did we go wrong? Most theologians who study theology, which is not deity knowledge, mind control their followers to believe that all of the Nephilim died during Noah's flood, which is a lie. I just want to add something. You know, I believe the old theologians, they actually signed letters to, you know, to silence up themselves. They won't speak the truth. But the northern or modern doomers and whatever, I know they know better, you know, and there's no excuse to preach lies, you know, it doesn't work that way. I mean, if they have studied something which is not deity science, it's one thing, but I mean to come and declare that all other belief systems are going to hell because they don't follow Jesus, who is only a Messiah. I mean, really? Let me share another ancient wisdom secret. Noah's flood was aerial and not worldwide, as people say. It covered an area of approximately 400 square miles. Later books in the Christian Bible describe in very fine detail what happened to all these Nephilim, the dark side Nephilim seed lines, as well as the light siders, after the flood, where they lived, what their names were, etc. Now, one of the pure dark side reptilian Efkenham's name is Laxela. His offspring on earth do not look like ordinary first world people. They are real reptilians who needs to cover their reptilian bodies with human-looking skins, their own visible camouflage making them look like humans. Nowadays they use contact lenses to cover up their vertical pupil reptilian eyes. You remember the program C in the series on ancient wisdom secrets? In program C, I explained in very good detail how to identify possessed people. Where can you see if a people or a person is possessed or not?
In the eyes.
In the eyes.
The radiation vibration, as
Yes,
you
we
feel
can
them.
feel them. And what about the eyes? How does the eyes look?
There's no life in them.
Yes,
90% of the time the pupil are enlarged.
enlarged with no light, meaning it means life.
Yeah.
It doesn't look, or it should look like a liveable
Yeah.
eye, not like a glass eye or something.
Yes.
And
And
with,
the pupil, yes.
and with some demons, the eyes is like they are fallen back. It's
Yes, 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 yes.
Deep in your soul.
Absolutely true, Kabosi, absolutely true. Now let's share ancient wisdom secrets on full-blood reptilians here on Earth. I cannot declare these fact secrets anymore because too many people know the truth regarding reptilian families on Earth. There are many different reptilian seed lines on Earth, all of which all reptilians are not full blood anymore. I mean, this is obvious. Pardon? I mean, it's obvious since the first reptilians arrived, let's say from Alpha Draco. How many times have they hybridated with other life forms and become, they don't look the same anymore, they don't have the same powers anymore, they are not full-bloods anymore as humans are today. So let's share the following facts on them. Reptilians are also known as reptoids. Now, I would like to discuss with the team what a reptoid look like. If you compare it to the cone-headed wrasse or the amentis, what I would actually like to share with you out there, if you go and look in the Great Canyon in the wall, about a mile from the top, from the surface of the canyon there up top, she will show the photos later on, or maybe it's on already, but she will show it. There you can see, inside there is a whole city. And I think there's about 250 halls or rooms in this facility. Very ancient, and there are mummies, among other things, mummies identified and discovered there, which, according to the people who were there, declare it as the mummies looks very alien if you compare it with what humans look like. Now, that triggered my mind, and I took the information to our guides. And I asked them, I showed the pictures and whatever, and I said, can you inform me? They said, yes. That thing that people don't believe, that very high, intelligent life forms rule the earth, is far over. We should start thinking. We know dimension 3 in which we live, and we know there's maybe a 4th, a 5th, or a 6th, or up till a certain amount of dimensions. It's not so. The more higher you go, in dimensions, the more,
Intelligent.
yes, intelligent you become, the more technologically advanced you become, and the more different from any other bodies your body to which you give consciousness to become. Now, I asked those guys, and they said, yeah, the mummies that they saw there are not of people living there, but it comes from the times when only the gods, meaning the creators from gods, Hefkanams, up, endless, when they, or among them, a few of them stayed on earth only. It's actually not a few of them, all of them who worked to create the earth stayed on earth. The earth was prepared for gods. You stick to the term gods. And they stayed here for 240 billion years, more or less, after which the first humanity was created on earth. Now, I asked them about why do they say it looks a little bit alien. They are not aliens, but the higher you come, the more alien to what we and our eyes are used to they become, yes. I looked into eyes of Hefkanams, of which the whole white, there's no iris, there's no pupil, there's nothing. The whole white is like the most shining diamond, polished diamond I've ever seen. Eyes like that, purple eyes, where it's shining out, red, purple, orange, you can name it. So I can just imagine what those mummies, if I can see them, I will be able to give more information on them. But according to the gods up there, the deities, those are the mummies are the bodies of that Doratus or whatever their titles were in dimension 19,009. So it's obvious we know not much. There could be people with, or let's say those ranks with a little bit heads that are, in our point of view, may look distorted, but we look distorted to them.
Yeah.
But that is just to share with you how old the earth really are and how old certain ancient cities are that are discovered now on earth. Now, full-blood reptilians, if they are real full-bloods, they have an extra vertical eye membrane, and I saw that with my own eyes, where if I do this, the two lashes go up and down. In there, they do this as well, but there's another, it's like a membrane folding sideways. I saw it with my own eyes. It was discovered many years ago in the previous age already, with lots of photos, and in those days what do you call it, it's not video, it was like making a movie, of that. So the expression in their eyes will not be warm and heartful, or a lot of people can let their eyes be blank, and you can look into that eyes, you will not see what they see. If you look into a seraph angelical being, the four of us and a few other people also looked in this specific one's eye. It looks so blank you cannot even imagine it to be an eye. But if you see the lady sing in normal voice, and she's walking around, it doesn't even look like her eyes. But in any case, if you look into a real dark side reptilian's eyes, it will be cold, chill, lifeless, and cruel. Some of them use makeup to look as if they smile. Somebody one day asked me, she showed me a photo of a woman who doesn't use makeup, and she said, but this woman was using a lot of makeup, and she said to me, why does this one look so old? Meaning they are of the same age. This one looks beautiful, that one is old. So I said, maybe it's because she doesn't wear makeup. You know, meaning if this one washes off all her makeup, there are few. My one lady friend, she's the wife of my, I will almost say by one and only straight friend, it's his wife. And if she's in makeup or not in makeup, she looks beautiful. You know, she's one of those lucky people. She can go anywhere, anytime. You will not even notice because everything is beautiful on her. But those peoples or that dark siders, oh, you will experience a cold, a chill, a lifeless, and a cruel expression. And that is one of the reasons a real full-blood reptilian queen or king can smile from ear to ear. The eyes do not smile with the rest of the face. Some people refer to some of them as reptilian humanoids, meaning they are not real humans, which we know a lot of them are not. Thanks to their DRACO'S super developed technology, they have different cover-up methods to camouflage their DRACO bodies. Now, we know about that. There's nothing to prove about that. The internet, YouTube, every channel you can think of has got at least 20 million sites where you can go to. If 20 million prove to you, different proofs to you is not enough, then you don't want to believe your reality, then stick to that. That is one of those reasons why the Reptilians queens, and you can watch them, you know, without, you don't even have to name a queen, one of the 43 queens on earth. You know, she can smile the most beautiful smile. The eye looks, like I said, you know, cruel and chill and lifeless and lightless, you can see. So it's other words, a dragon looking at you, not even a dragon, a demon looking at you, you know, something higher than a demon, but with a smile. And the people are so fond of, you know, if they just know what we know. Yep, they can smile, nothing will smile with them, only the mouth. Now, thanks to their okay, I said that.
I'm sure our friends out there are going to be surprised to know that even we here in South Africa, Bloemfontein, have our own reptilian, partly shapeshifted humans.
Oh, without mentioning any names of people or places or surrounding suburbs or anything. The first so-called partly shape-shifting reptilian humanoid I met in my life lives different than average human life. He has his own business, etc. But without saying too much, when we met, me and Cabos met this person the first time, he had a kind of a weird looking, like plastic surgery that's been done over a face which were in a horrible car accident, for instance. It looks like skin, but it looks like a plastic kind of skin. Now this guy had this on, he was blonde hair, green eyes, and a very exceptionally green eyes, most beautiful green eye. And he was well built as far as I could see. But the house in which he lived was not very beautiful, you know. There was like bushes up to next to the house, you know, and snakes and everything. But in any case, the second time we visited him, he looked quite like rather somebody else living there coming out of the house. And it was up on my tongue to ask him, where's your brother, please? And he starts shape-shifting back to what he looked like the first time I saw him. Now, I mean, to see a guy coming out here with dark hair that is half bald-headed, you know, and another facial shape, everything, and as he comes to you, all of a sudden it shape-shifting back to the original form in which he was when I met him. And this was weird. There's things about them, they like cold places to stay in. They don't, if you expect them to be in a place where they will get too warm during summers, it will not work that way. They prefer at least 11 degrees lower every day in temperature. Yes, the colder the better, 11 degrees. And their skin is also, as far as I know, much colder. And this guy even had a lady friend who was the same, you know, but he shapeshifted so many times that I actually asked, I said, you are very lucky, because every time I look at him, he looks different. Because inside the house he's got, let's say, blue eyes. Outside the house it's green eyes. Inside the house he's got round pupils. Outside the house it goes like this, you know, stay there and then return to be around again. And she said actually to me that I know, that's why I'm his girlfriend. Every time we're in bed, I'm with another man, a new lover or something. And not him. I consultate the gods up there, the deities, and these people don't know they are partly shape-shifting. I don't know if they are put together not to be able to see themselves, but they are real, and I saw them. There's another one also in Bloemfontein, but he's a little bit in another class, if I can put it like that, but I'm not going to discuss him, but just to mention there are two that I know of. Now you can go and check it out on your YouTube and internet, how the real reptilian shapeshifted on television, etc., in plays. You can name it, you will see it. Do you want another ancient wisdom secret? Here it comes. Half-breed reptilians look like humans, but could have some of the following visible features. Now you must listen, because you can, maybe one day you need this information to trick death. You know, if you are in the wrong person's what is the sales company, thank you, then things can go terribly wrong. But the pupils can and will shapeshift from human eyes, round pupils to vertical pupils. That I told you, I saw it with my own eyes, not on television alone, but face to face with the real two of them. Their skins could from time to time look as if the person had a skin transplant over a burnt part of the body. This guy had it, and the second time it was gone. Now, how can it be there physically? You can see it, and the next time it's gone. So a few of them, it is the parts of the body that didn't switch back to what it should be, and after a bit it changed. The teeth are not always placed in the best looking formation, while the gums could be bumpy or knobbly. Now don't think if you've got a bumpy teeth package or whatever that you're a reptilian now. It is just one of the many features they can have. Some may have partly webbed fingers and toes, or toes. Their body heat is much colder than an ordinary human, sometimes 11 degrees or more. Their radiation vibration is scary, cruel, and cold, lightless, you know, far away from the light side kingdoms. Hair color changes regularly as part of partly shape-shifting, and eye color change regularly as part of partly shape-shifting. Up to there, everything that I told you I saw, as I said, so you can take this serious. They love cold places and cold weather, and they don't live near, where they live is not very neat at all, not in the house or around the house. Why do all this happen? Because a consciousness-giving life form giving consciousness to a reptilian's body, whether it's half shape-shifting or not, is not a human soul as a visa, as we call it, or as we know it, to be called by the creators of it, but a moreke, a zalmo, or rivala. That is what only three out of a sea of different werewolves or whatever, reptilians in this case, that give consciousness to human bodies that can shapeshift or partly shapeshift. So please don't see yourself as a reptilian because you have one or two reptilian traits or features. After all, if you think you are a reptilian, test yourself on what you believe in, etc. Are you extremely religious in the right sense to the right gods? Or are you religious or don't have any religion at all? You could be partly light side reptilian if you have all the others. It's not to say you must be now dark side.
Ernst, what about draconians among us? Do you believe in it, and are they all dark side representatives?
Among all consciousness-giving life forms, Eliska, there are dark side as well as light side kingdom representatives. The light side darkers in human bodies that I have met in South Africa have a very strong bone structure. They are built to be strong. And you don't put an adult Draco, you don't push him over easily. If you try to push against their human bodies, it feels as if they weigh a ton, which is not the case. I have never met a Draco or dark side Draco in my lifetime here in South Africa. I did meet several Draco people, but they were of light side. A few were grey side representatives, but you know what? What I mean, they've got a strong bone structure. If they stand there and you come and you want to push them over, it feels you as if you are pushing a wall.
Yeah.
And if you look at them like this, they are not strong, big, fat or ugly people, you know, and there is a difference between their build. And if you watch the American and even the Spaniards in Mexico also, where they do bull riding, I mean those bull riders, not the bullfighters, the riders. Most of them are, you can see, you know, they are of a very good, strong bone structure. Not that they are always very frisk, you know.
Yeah.
They can be a little bit skinny as well. But don't try and break those bones. You cannot. There are two.
Aaron, what do you know about Draco people?
Do you want more ancient wisdom secrets on Dracos? Right. Zori Amon Keveron is a pure light side Draco super creator Ifkenam. And that you can take from me. We know. We're not going to say how we know, but we know. You can take that for a fact. A Koue, K-O-U-E, is the name of the consciousness-giving life form, giving consciousness to a Draco's human-like body. A Draco consciousness-giving life form can have up to 8 components. The ordinary human soul starts off with 4 components. So they can, it could be, you know, like we've got components or sub-components to see where other people cannot see. I mean, take it away and we cannot see it anymore. Same with this, you know, if they've got that component, they will be, you will not push them over very easily, a very strong bone, and they look normal. If you don't know the difference and how they feel, you will not tell the difference. The basis of the reptilian elite theory is that in ancient times, listen to this because this is absolutely 100% correct. I've did all the research on this and I can say to you, you can listen. The basis of the reptilian elite theory is that in ancient times, a group of advanced reptiles from the Alpha Draconian star system came to Earth and infiltrated the governments of the ancient civilizations to control all the humans and enslave the humans, and became their rulers and bred with other humans to form crossbreeds, so that their DNA can infiltrate the minds of humans. Now, with their DNA inside our system, so they can control us by making us dumber, slower, less curious, to know what's going on in true reality around you, less interested in religion, and very less interested to know what's going on in politics, how the world are ruled, etc., etc., and to become weaker, therefore easier to control, which we are used to by now. I mean, look around you, go and see what the people in the 60s of the previous century looked like, dressed like, how was their language, etc., and compare it to today's people, you're in for a very big surprise. Everything I just mentioned, you will identify in those people all around you. Evidence for this reptilian DNA in us comes from the fact that in the early stages, developing embryos look a lot like reptiles and could be classified as such. And Bebazola, you swatted all this. I don't even know what you call it all, but tell us a little bit about what does embryo look like.
A baby embryo looks like a lizard. When you take a picture of a
Seriously,
lizard inside its egg, at one stage it looks exactly like a human baby.
Wow.
To the point, if you test it,
So
you
first
can
a
test
lizard
the
and then it
lizard.
changes.
Yes, it looks like a little lizard, you know.
Yeah, do they all look the same?
Yes, embryos look like that.
Wow.
At one stage, everyone looks like a lizard. Or that's what they're teaching. Or
Wow.
saying in biology.
Thank you for that input. I appreciate it. And those out there who didn't know it like me, they also appreciate it. Thanks. You know, out there in Helena Petrovna Blavatsy's The Secret Doctrine, written in 1888, she refers to dragon men who once had a mighty civilization on a Lemurian continent. Facial expressions and features of Draco people in human bodies resemble some facial features of different kinds of draconian types. Think of the Komodo dragon face. Some human Draco faces reminds me of Flintstone or Neanderthal faces. Really, with all due respect, they didn't create themselves, they didn't create the bodies to which they are giving consciousness to. It looks like that. So it's for us to take note of it and take it to heart and be respectful towards it. The mainstream scientists classify draconians under reptilian people, which include real reptilians, lizard people, Dracos, etc. And remember what I said, true light side representatives as well as true dark side. Don't, if you hear vampire, oh, from the devil, werewolf, oh, Satan himself. No, you can get very good vampires with which are light side, which you will take note of a little bit later on, yeah? The main street scientists classified draconians under reptilian people. Now meet the real life dragons of today. Now I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about real dragons. The Komodo dragon, I decided to start it off with this one because I think a pretty big amount of people know what a Komodo dragon looks like. But if you don't know, just type in there in a search ancient Komodo dragon images and you will have thousands on hand to take note of. Komodo dragons are the largest lizards on Earth, reaching up to 10 feet long and more than 300 pounds in weight. Yo. What about the sea fee or the leafy sea dragon? It could be some kind of seahorse. If you look at it, it doesn't matter, but we know that it looks like a dragon with leaves on it, you know, a little bit different from the rest. A bearded dragon, I had one as a pet, but unfortunately, after a lot of years, he died from a germ that he got from crickets that we gave him to eat, which we bought from a pet shop. What about the blue dragon sea slugs? They are really beautiful, especially the color. You can just go and look at the color. It's very, to my eyes, it's very royal. And the Chinese water dragon, it looks like a kind of iguana. What about flying dragons? They are real, I can promise you.
So do you out there believe in flying dragons?
Dragons can be heard about for more than 3,000 years in different myths and cultures. Many cultures from Europe to China have dragons in their mythology and fairy tales. Dragon stories are still a popular theme in Hollywood. I hope you've heard about Daenerys and her 3 fire-breathing pets. But some people think they really exist. Hi there, Bubble here. Today I'll show you 10 dragons caught on camera, and you can decide if these footages are real or not. The creator of this footage lives in Mexico. We can vividly see a strange little winged creature, which was found in the desert and taken home. Nobody saw something like that before. Local media called this look-alike bird creature a Monterey dragon, but unfortunately we don't know anything about its fate. One lucky man from Pennsylvania took the video of this weird creature. It appears to show a mysterious flying creature that bears resemblance to a pterodactyl or even a dragon. This unknown thing is flying at a distance, but we can distinguish its wings, large body, and a long tail. This video was filmed by a person from Dallas, Texas, USA. It shows a dragon-like creature sitting on top of the radio tower. While the guy was filming the creature, it flew away. Surely this video causes a lot of questions. The next dragon can hardly be mixed with anything else. Its entire appearance resembles a movie dragon monster. The video was also made in the USA. An American man heard a strange noise, went outside and saw this weird picture. He had only several minutes to take the footage, but he managed to do it, giving us the opportunity to watch it as well. The Asian mythology shows quite different dragons from the European ones. They look more like winged snakes than lizards. A Nepal resident was lucky to catch this creature on camera. It seems to float in the sky. This video went viral all over the web. I don't have the heart to name it anything else than a dragon. It was reported to have been stranded on the coast of the Chinese island. This creature was said to be studied by scientists, but the researchers themselves do not comment on this information. This footage might be fake. The Chinese media reported about an unusual creature caught by a fisherman. The creature looked like a real Chinese dragon. The picture was immediately widespread. The dragon has since been transported to Beijing for further studies. The author of this footage is still unknown. This video was probably captured on a mobile phone. It shows the dragon-like creature slowly flying into the sky. This is not for the faint at heart. Chinese are lucky to watch dragons in their skies. This dragon spotted in real life is one of the most famous on the web. It was taken high in the mountains. At first, the man thought it was a big bird, but then he zoomed the picture and saw the creature closely. He lost all doubts. First place goes to this impressive video. 2 tourists managed to catch this unusual creature on camera. It looks like the loathsome Hydra, which was slain by Hercules. The creature was enormous. Despite the big distance, we can still hear its roar. Guys, do you believe dragons exist? Share your comments. Again, Bubble here. See you later.
Well, I'm sure by this time, if they hear that I believe in it, they will also believe in it.
Ernst, what about real draconian people or races on Earth?
Do you out there like some more ancient wisdom secrets on the real draconian Hefkadams, gods and humans? I'll give you a few. Right. The Bisalon, Bisalon, is a race of draconian gods and Hefkadams living in Mount Avatar in China. You don't have to believe. You can believe me if you want to, or you can. I know where that city is, and I know exactly that this is true information. What about Bazokia, a real light-side dragon? During a two-way communication in tapping session, he spoke to a lady friend of mine here in Rustelavar next door. And then the seated dragons. What do, Kabosi?
They're taking away any fears that are left in a building. For instance, if you were robbed and nearly killed, you don't want to go back to that specific place because you've got a fear for that place. Now the seated dragons eating up that memories about it.
You know, you've learned from the previous programs that there's a difference between a real earthbound human soul, for instance, and a what? A copy of a happening in the atmosphere, and those copies stays there for years and years and years. So if you sit there and you look up and there are 5 people with guns in their hands and they rob you and you are a wealthy person and they steal 2 million rands of jewelry from your hand and nearly rape you, luckily they didn't, you will not like to go back to a place like that. I'm sure we are Western people. We live this way. We don't live in the, in prehistoric, not prehistoric, but let's say primitive kind of lifestyles. We're not used to that rubbish. And we had a lady friend who underwent such thing, and we went there, and you can do it also. I'm sure they will listen to you. If you are pure of heart, they will. The words I gave to prayers and certain spells you already have, you use that words. It sounds like Rmotsa elonsat fast palo toratere Yahweh Goria. And then what are you going to ask? You have now said in the name and the power of the Most High toratere Yahweh Goria. Now you say Rado Lavitra, I call upon. This is Tavala, the language the gods are speaking. Seaters, you can just say seaters, seater, the way you pronounce it in your language, S-E-T-E-R. And you can explain to them, do it hard, they can hear, loud, not hard, loud. Yeah. In other words, you call them and then sit there and tell them what happened in your house and why are you scared to live there anymore. And ask them, Seater Draco, please eat away this bad memories in the name of the Most High. And thank you, Most High, and thank you, Seater Dragons, and go out for a day or two. I can promise you, if they've listened to you and you are worthy of it, they will, or you're not worthy, you are recognized enough as a light side psychic person. They will definitely know it's not just a bunch of rubbish, they will definitely come to you and they did it. Me and Cabos did it a lot of times there where they stay.
Yeah, they've
Are
copied.
also a few, you know, it's very near where during the old Boer Wars and that went on, you know, what is the slagveld, the lands on which the blood was spilled, you know, there's a lot of areas around there. But in any case, on their plot, certain, luckily not the whole plot, but a certain area, you feel as if if I walk there, I feel as if I'm on the last steps of my life, you know, I'm going to die now, there's nothing more to live for. It's a depression, kind of no hope to look forward to experience. And I asked our guides what happened there. Were there people murdered during a war there or what? And they said no, but it was created by people there. In other words, with the mind suffering there from depression, thinking of all this rubbish. Now 100 and something years afterwards, a psychic walks by, the whole area feels like that. This is what I mean. But in any case, what I'm going to share with you is ancient wisdom's secret once again. And this secret reads as follows. Dragons can communicate with people. Do you believe me? DRACO'S and all other light side reptilians can serve as guides to light side human souls, angelical souls in human bodies, etc., etc. Lumani is a good example. Lumani is an angel of dragons and serves as one of my own guides, with whom I can chat daily if I need to. She invited me to do so, but because she is a very busy angel, I don't want to disturb her unnecessarily for everything. She is female, and Cabos can tell you the story behind the dragon egg now on screen. But before he starts, I just want to tell you that, you know, if she's near me, if she helps me writing my books, I can feel every guy's own radiation vibration, and I can promise you this one is about love. And I mean, she's an angel of dragons. Kabosi, what do you want to tell the people about Lumani?
We went to Cape Town to go and see clients of us that had problems with their house in the business.
Yes.
So the lady friend of us took us to a business or a place that sells crystals. The name is Scratch Patch. No? We went in, but I didn't see anything that called me, because I believe in something do call you and something take your attraction if you need something. But many years before that, I prayed. I wanted a dragon's egg, because one of my animal totems are two dragons, fire and water. So I went in there and I got a staff and something else, but nothing is really wow that you can say this is calling you, you need to take it with you. But as soon as I got to the till, there was a shelf, but it looked like a room, the way the shelf was packed, and there were dragon eggs on it. So I went in, but the eggs doesn't feel exactly correct, it feels dead. But there's one specific egg got a shine on it. It's unbelievable to see it. Between all these eggs that's lying on these shelves, there's this one that's got this glow. And I took this egg, went and paid for it, and I got outside and I said to Aaron's, I've got a present for you, because the feeling that I've got from it, it's not for me, it's for him. So I gave him the egg, and he actually said to me, but what is it? By knowing what I know about it, I didn't tell him anything. I just said to him, go and meditate on it. Because that night there was a ceremony that he did with a couple of our friends in the Cape, And he actually did the ceremony, and he contacted Lumani that's in this egg.
Yes. And what I can add to is the following. Thanks, Quibus. Lumani showed me exactly where this dragon egg in which sea were before it got destructed, not destructed, but because something happened to it. And it looked exactly, she showed me during that time, there were bubbles coming from the seabed, and I was under the water, she showed me, and I could see very far. You know, if you're in spirit world, you can see far underwater, because the body is most not there, it's only you that's there. And it was like chimneys where black smoke came out of. And she said, where you see this is where the egg actually was laid, but by the mother dragon. But something happened, and I think she referred to 26,000 yearly transgression, recreation, thank you, much better word, of our planet Earth. And she also mentioned that today people have covered that piece of sea with ground and rocks and whatever. You can build your houses on there. But this is the little egg that I would like to share with you. I know it's a little bit small. We'll take a picture of it, and she will put it on the program for you to watch. But this is how small. So it makes sense that Lumani can fit into a human body as well, you know, because it's a small egg. I mean, there was one egg, it was like this. But as whoever said, you know, he can feel them, and there was no life in it. And this is awesome, you know, to be able to have a real dragon egg out of which your own guide, one of your guides, originate from, not originate, but she came from this egg, is so awesome that, you know, even here where I sit now, keep it in my hand, I can actually feel her, which is so motherly and warm-hearted, but she could be very strict also, not strict, but a string. Strict. Thank you. Right.
So this brings us to the third subject of investigation, namely werewolves living as people amongst us.
Ernst, are there real werewolves here in South Africa?
Alaska, not that I know of. I know of real partly shape-shifting vampires in South Africa. But I don't know if here is real shape-shifting werewolves in South Africa. I wouldn't be surprised if there are, because nowadays we discover three-dimensional demons in, you know, pipes under big cities, in bushes, caught on trail cameras. Oh, you must actually go and look there. It's awesome to see. I don't think, I did ask the guides, and they refer to this that I'm going to tell you a little bit later on. The first movie on werewolves that I watched was American Werewolf in London. When I saw that movie the first time, I was extremely anxious to start research on the real werewolves. Now, at first I thought that werewolves were not real, until I did deeper research. Another name for a werewolf is a man-wolf. A real werewolves, or the real werewolves, I'm interested in. Shapeshift from man to wolf, which takes a month ordinary. All depends on what kind of a species of werewolves the subject is, starting normally 3 days after the full moon, when the werewolf changed back to human. Then follows the next slow change back to werewolf. Now, I just want to describe what I know. In normal movies on werewolves, they will show, like in American Werewolf in London, that guy's name was David. He was lying on the bed, and all of a sudden, it starts, and within a few minutes or so, he was completely reformed into a werewolf, which, well, this is what they said, but I know for a fact that when the start begins, 3 days after full moon normally, then let's say by the 5th day the person will see long beards coming out, but it's not human hair, it's wolf hair, thick hair, and it will grow. Those people will either shave or they will let the beard grow. But anyway, and out of the head also come, and all over the body, the hair starts growing. It is just around about very near to full moon when the complete change will take place.
Ernst, I've read that werewolves are real but nearly extinct, and do you know where to go and look for werewolves?
Nikita, yes. In the Epic of Gilgamesh, which was written in Babylonia, the werewolf is an evil shape-shifting creature that lurks in the wilderness and attacks lone travelers. In this epic poem, the hero Gilgamesh is turned into a werewolf by the evil goddess Ishtar, who sent him to kill his friend Enkidu. Now, second part of let me just say, the Epic of Gilgamesh is one of the earliest surviving works of all literature dating back to at least 2,100 years before Christ, in which a werewolf is mentioned. Now we know, it's obvious, all these things, as well as the third dimension demons like the skinwalkers and all that other, of which we got the pictures from trail cameras. Oh, people, you must see that. I don't know, there's so many new life forms all of a sudden surfacing that it's quite hard to get used to all this. But in any case, to answer the question, the second part of your question, you will get, if I have the money to go overseas to go and look, there's only 7 countries I will go to. That's Romania, Greece, America, Sweden, Africa. I am in Africa, but there are in mid-Africa, Ukraine and Croatia. Among other countries have their own investigations on werewolf attacks on humans, and not 1 or 2, dozens. In some cases, dozens per year. In different places, in different routes and whatever. This is where I would go to look for real werewolves, but the governments cover it up.
In countries where werewolves dwell or abide are plenty of woodlands. Some of the royal families in the above-mentioned countries houses a werewolf as a part of their family. Looking for the beautiful capital letter R on the...
Just look for the beautiful capital letter R in their royalty. They, what is that word again? Your emblem. Your family emblem. Thank you. Your heritage emblem, where your family comes from. Go and have a look on it. Now, a lot of those families in those countries, in their I call it, it's actually, let's just stick to the emblem. There will be a R, but a very well written R, not like you see on a screen of a computer. It will be something like up, down, and then by acrylics, and it's like the old kings and queens. They wrote that in that style. So, yes, you know, if you can only get to a farm or a village or a place where those people live, you know, some of them are very rich. Apparently there's woods around them for miles and miles on end, so they will, the R will be in red and on a black also background to black and blue, black and red are what colors?
Dark side.
When you combine them, more dark side
Oh,
attractive. Yes, definitely. You know, I couldn't believe it myself, but then when I start doing a little bit of research, remember I studied graphology as well, so I know about this, who wrote that and what is the personality of such a person. Now all those people, as I said, have the red on black. And you know, every time I'm doing a paratosa here, you know about it. If the people that I can see through my Mageda eyes, let's say you stand in front of me. Now we do the paratosa, and through the Mageda irises I see, oh, here goes a lady, she's going this way. Then I know, okay, I can see she's 5'3", she's wearing a, let's say, a little jersey like this one. I will more or less be accurate with the colors. And then another one will go that way. I know that one is going to Vanguard's dark side. But if something goes backwards, in other words, west, it is a true satanic entity, because only the gods and the Hefkanams of the dark side might enter there. And those of the white side on that side, east. And during the last 2 or 3 paratosas that we did as a big group, 3 of those creatures came in. Not as a group, it was for customers as well, the first one. But I mean, those stuff can come to us, you know, and we have to direct them first. So they all had this beautiful, you know, if this is now the jersey, it's just, it must be much finer, you know, like the red in here, in this pattern, and you put a lot of black inside. All of them are dressed up like that. Or the back will be a big red something with black around it, but puffed up, you know, weird looking costumes, but they wear those costumes. And I asked through the board, what the hell went this way? And they said, yes, it's fallen Hefkanams. And you know, in some cases the werewolf man will walk free. Nearer to the full moon, the werewolf man will be kept in a cellar underground so that other people cannot hear the werewolf when it howls or strikes and kills a human during the full moon. This full moon kills takes place normally in the surrounding woods of where such a werewolf stays. The authorities will cover it up, declaring that it was an ordinary wild animal who killed the human. Can you imagine that? So, as if a wild animal, or as if wild animals only kills humans during the full moon, and in a specific way only werewolves and ordinary wild wolves will do, in the wild to do.
Did these reports of killed humans take place only during a full moon?
Only during the full moons. That's why, or the reason, the people became suspicious. I mean, the so-called werewolf myth or conspiracy theory is by far too obvious real to ignore. Gabos and me watched a program on werewolf attacks on humans. I mean, I'm not going to say in which country it was, but it was in one of the 7 I mentioned. I mean, they howl when they shapeshift into a werewolf, and it is full moon, or if it's full moon, they howl like no other wolf can howl, and people hear those howls miles away. So of course you can hear this is not a wolf. We are used to if there were wolves.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
this is another cry. What is
Something
this?
else.
And on the trail cameras. Oh, trail cameras.
The new world order or one world government as the world's chief executive officer informed all governments around the globe not to harm or kill any werewolves or other so-called folklore scary creatures like Bigfoot because they are part of lifeform species going extinct. Luckily for us, we have technology available we call trail cameras. There are thousands of them along hiking trails, in woods, forests and many other secluded places. If you seriously don't believe in life forms we are discussing in this program, please watch video clips on YouTube on weirdest creatures caught on trail cams. You are in for an eye-opener like most of us were when we saw pictures of these life forms.
Yes, Nikita, thank you so much. And I would like to add, you know, that program, Weirdest Creatures Caught on Trail Camps. There's the one little guy that presents it. He's got beautiful curly hair, young man, but he knows a lot of. If you want to know what's in the woods, you know, let's say hundreds of miles from the nearest humanity.
Yeah.
Go to that little guy's programs. You will see it's beautiful. You can see so many proof which you prefer, but I can promise you a lot out there will once again say, it's Photoshop or, you
It's
know.
the excuse for
Okay.
everything.
Yeah, so please. And if you out there are living in Romania or where a real werewolf lives, please write to me or contact me or give me a voicemail or anything. My web address is aronsjordan81@gmail.com. The address is on our website, Baramus Tower of Light. There must be guys among you, maybe in Romania, who knows about genuine werewolf attacks. I love to hear from you.
And your email address is in the description.
And the email address is in the description, so thank you so much.
Ernst, I've read in books that werewolves can be identified in advance if you know what you are looking for. Do you have any ancient wisdom secrets on this?
Yes, Ilaska, I have. You out there also can take note of the following. The real werewolf as a human man will start changing slowly from man to werewolf. It starts 3 days normally, all depending on which seed line he is and what kind of is. 3 days after the full moon, when the werewolf recovered to be a normal human man again, every day from there on the werewolf man's body temperature will change to slightly colder day by day until the full moon, when the werewolf man shapeshifts into a real werewolf. This final change happened within minutes, or in other cases that I heard of or read about, a few hours' time. Now, during each day, the werewolf man's personality will change for the worse. On the night of the full moon, the personality changes from human to werewolf animal. When a real werewolf man sits next to you in a bar or in a lounge, you will feel the danger in his radiation vibration. The degree of danger that you will feel depends on how many days away from the full moon this man is. Now, during the night of the full moon, the werewolf moves with speed of light. It will catch whatever it needs, humans or animals. While werewolves, they don't see any difference between humans and animals. All they see is a moving vessel of warm, lovely blood for them, because they need it in their bodies. They need it. This is why they change. It's one of those things. I mean, where do they come from? Hey, what's going on there? You know, so Yeah, after the day of the full moon, the werewolf will shapeshift again to be a human man again, normally naked, or being found in bushes or in cages or wherever. But you know, I cannot imagine how painful it must be during these shape-shifting changes. You know, a little bit later on you will hear about another lady in what suffering she is. And she's not even this in full. So, Cabos, will you tell our friends out there about your two-way communication with wolves in one of your past lives here on Earth? Let me just start the story. In one of his past lives, he was a knight. He was incarnated in a body to become a knight, and he became a knight. And in those days, when a knight, it was in
Romania.
no Turkey.
Turkey is
Turkey. Focus. In Turkey. So he became well acquainted. He had also this various Verolda guide, which is a magician. And that magician taught him, Porento, how to communicate with wolves in those days, not werewolves. But Cabos knew their language, and you know, if somebody, let's say the council of that country or the state president or whatever, wanted Cabos to go and kill somebody that's on the run and they cannot kill, he will howl a few howls, and his mates will come and tell him. He understands where to go and look for him, and the wolves will guide him to that place.
What happens is the wolf will tell you where to go, but they even can blindfold you, and you can walk, and you will exactly see where the wolf is taking you. You will see every stump, every stone, every tree, so no harm can come to you. They even let you know if there's danger around you. So you're always in contact with everything around you. And what's so nice is about the wolves, if you are getting into a wolf tribe, they accept you as one. They always look after you. You're never going to hurt yourself. You're one of the pack. You're one of the family. Now, I really want to go and see some real wolves. Not the inbreeds we've got in South Africa. I want to see the real wolves. The big ones.
The big ones.
Because I still feel, and I've got that feeling still in me, if you're getting by to the wolves, and you had in your past life contact with them, you can still have contact with them today.
Of course you can.
Because if your vibration is correct and they can feel it, they will accept you, and then your path is open again. So it's just to get to the right place at the right time.
Thank you. On behalf of our friends out there, now Nikita and Eliska have how many wolf dogs? Tell our friends out there, this is very important. This is not an ancient, it could be it's actually a logical explanation. But tell them what you feed the dogs and why you feed them that.
We do give them raw bones and meat, also because they are wild. They're not your normal human
They've
dogs.
got wolf blood.
Yeah, they have wolf blood in them, so you have to accommodate them also on this planet called Lonakuza, and they are in a a domesticated household. So yeah, you make it as more comfortable as possible.
And you must actually out there, you must see what their dogs look like. We call them dogs, but it's actually wolf dogs. You can see the wolf in the hair, in the expression.
Yeah, it's the behavior, everything.
Rusa is actually a dog with two eyes, two different changing eyes.
Yeah, we as in a privileged position, as you saw Rusa through me once in a Paratosa. And then we've started to notice, not from then, we've already noticed that, but all of the puzzles just fell into place after you consulted our guides, and you communicated 2 ways, and they confirmed that it was my totem Ruza. But he also manifests, as I should say, also through this one wolf that we have, which his name is also Simba, but he has a split eye. One side's blue and the other side's like a yellow color. And when Ruza comes through, the whole eye will shift into a yellow color eye.
Yes, that is what I saw.
Yeah,
It's
and
awesome.
then you will feel also in his radiation, vibration, obviously, and in the way he acts and
Yes.
comes forth. It's too different. It's not the
It's
same.
not easy to control him then.
Yeah.
When it's
Yes,
Ruza,
yeah,
you
for
cannot
sure.
No, he's-
tell him what
he's-
to do. He knows what is right from wrong.
You
and
can
he
read
does
his
what you
eyes.
need
You know,
Yes,
he's
yeah.
intelligent. He's more intelligent than Simba. For
Yeah,
instance.
yeah, and you won't tell him what to do. He will tell you what to do.
Yeah,
Yes.
of course. And
Yeah.
at the end of time, it will be for your benefit.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, for sure.
Exactly. But that's a very good privilege also to know that and to be part of that. So.
Of course.
And I've read in one of your books in the Baramas writings that you've met a real vampire. Is this true?
Oh, my dear, we're getting close to there now. I've met a distant descendant of a real vampire. Shall we go over to vampires?
Yes.
Who's going to show us your face? No. You know, I've met this woman, but let me start from the beginning with this story. I'll come now to her. Vampires, think of Count Dracula and his beloved vampire family around the earth. Did you also watch movies where Count Dracula is in action?
Yes.
Yes. Now, who was the first vampire on earth that there is record of?
Jurigrando Alilovic. Is it right? Is
Correct.
it correct?
I don't know if we pronounce it, but Jure Grando Alilovic or something. He lived in 1579 to 1656. Wow. Was a villager from the region of Istria, which is in today's time the modern Croatia, who may have been the first real person described as a vampire in history records. Now, Jure Grando lived in Kringa, a small town in the interior of the Istrian Peninsula near Tinjan. He died in 1656 due to illness, but according to legend, returned from the grave at night as a vampire and terrorized his village until his decapitation in 1672. Now, the vampires who have been called originals are Michael, Finn, Elijah, Klaus, Cole, and Rebecca. The originals are legendary throughout the supernatural world, especially among witches and vampires, since they have walked the earth for over 1,000 years. And you know what? Nikita told me before we started this that we went through the script, and she said, but you know, there is a series on internet with the name The Originals,
Yes, exactly.
in which you can actually see Michael, Finn, Elijah, Klaus, Colin, Rebecca, what they stand for, how they look, more or less,
more or less.
according to what people research on them, etc. So they have been on Earth, what I know of, since the times that only the Hefkenoms lived on Earth, which is during when the Earth was finished, 240 billion years from the starting point up to there. Only the gods and Efkanams and upwards
Yeah.
left here, as you saw, even whatever you can call them, from dimension 19,009. I mean, really? Wow. It is absolutely something to think of. Do you know what? The world authorities try their best to classify vampires and werewolves as conspiracy theories, as if vampires and werewolves, among other life forms, doesn't exist on Earth. They think humans on Earth are all non-psychic and non-spiritual as they are, who cannot see true expanded realities. Friends, do yourself a favor and research on YouTube or internet which realities are being classified as conspiracy theories. You will include that whatever the authorities or scientists declare as a conspiracy theory are in fact full or long time proven to be true reality. This we know of. I mean, you know, I think the day that all the people on earth will believe in this will be the day that each and every one had to learn to know them the hard way. And it's quite obvious for me, because today we sit in front of a computer, we have all this beautiful technology to use, you know, and there's so much available that you don't want to use 1 second of one day doing nothing. You can gain wisdom, you can gain information, everything. And how will these people who never, you know, they lived in cities, their dads and grandparents and their grandparents all were city dwellers, you know, now you ask them where to find a vampire. I mean, no. It's like asking a person in a city, come and show me a pixie.
Yeah.
You know, or a fairy or something like that. Now, friends, do yourself a favor and research on YouTube or internet all these theories, and I prove to you, or your proof will be there. We know that for real, and what we know what is real and what is not for real. We know that if the so-called scientists out there, which is 98% rational thinkers, talks of conspiracy theories, the proof of everything you want us to believe is a conspiracy, are on museum shelves all over the globe and in nature itself. If you want us to believe that already proven realities are conspiracy theories, you prove to us, or you prove to us who you really are and what is going on here. My question to you is, if you are a light side representative, will you lead your people into a place where they can be hurt or get killed? I mean, it's obvious. Only a dark side demon will do that, or a dark side Efkanam or something. I mean, now their excuses is always, you know, the people on earth, if we must tell them aliens is real or vampires are real, they are going to lose their faith in us as scientists in the first place, because it's for centuries that they don't want to believe, because they are mind controlled not to believe in it. You know, so yes, the same with the so-called natural nature disasters. You know, if that which they as scientists shows us are natural nature disasters, what does the unnatural nature disasters look like? I mean, why put the word natural?
Yeah.
It is obvious to mislead your mind, to say, yeah, this is the hand of God. It's not in all cases the hand of God. It could be a hand of God, but a God inside a human body in the right place to press the buttons for stuff to happen. You know, a great part of what we see happens in nature are so-called so-called nature disasters, is part of what we know teutonic or tectonic warfare. Humans have long ago mastered nature to create nature disasters. As I mentioned before, the percentage of rational thinker scientists are shrinking at a fast tempo. We know that a lot of scientists do what we as psychics and spiritual developing people know. They know. Their bosses, the one world government, forbid them to reveal the truth. In most cases, these scientists are professors and doctors employed by government-owned universities. If they should dare to reveal the truth, they will surely lose their jobs. And the words natural before natural disaster or nature disaster and or conspiracy theorists are words that irritate us who know what's going on. You know, in some cases I think we know more what they don't want us to know, but they can do nothing because it's on the internet, it's a whole while, a world through.
What is the definition of a vampire?
Ooh, kabosi. Right, a vampire is a creature that subsists by feeding on the vital essence of the living. Ooh, this sounds so... I don't know if I would like to be a victim of a vampire. Do you think so? No, not even after seeing Intercount. What is that movie? We'll come to that later on.
Interview with a Vampire.
That's it, thank you. Interview with a Vampire. Now, a vampire is a creature that subsists by feeding the vital essence of the living. Would you like his fangs and then suck you dry from the backside? No, thank you. No. You can see where the teeth grow out of the facial bone, which is not a hoax. There on the picture we are going to show you, there are thousands of other photos as proof. Go and check it out on YouTube and internet, among other places. Now, without further ado, here are a few distinct types of vampires people have encountered over centuries. So this is not from me, this is from the internet itself. You get the seductive sinners. They want you in bed. Do you remember the movie? That is the one, the interview with the vampire. I mean, two of the most beautiful male actors in the world, and they put them together to be vampires. Of course, we who are looking that movie, we will must think, okay, if vampires all look like that, that's okay. But do they look like that? Everything but that. I know there are a few that they say are beautiful. I haven't met them. So the first ones you get are seductive sinners. They want to take you to bed. Aristocratic romantics. These hedonistic aristocratic vampires are romantic, flamboyant, and fabulously wealthy. They even use their wealth to maintain their vampire lifestyle of wealth, such as by throwing lavish parties whereby they can prey on their impressive but unsuspecting guests. These vampires are irresistibly alluring because of their mystique, elite world, and charming ways. Then you get the castle-dwelling drama queens. Oh, I can imagine what that must. That must be hell on earth to be in their presence. Angsty, oppressive, dramatic, and hallowing in self-pity. These vampires should probably be seeking professional help for the heaps of emotional issues they've accumulated over the hundreds of years they've been alive. Instead, they're sleeping in coffins and playing organ music, or where they slept in coffins and playing organ music. I would also be fed up for that if I was a vampire. The nocturnal party animals, the washout rock star look, you know, and partying too hard because they're bored of living forever. The other one is the nightmare-indulging monsters. Some vampires are less complex than others, frightening us with their repulsive appearance, night-stalking, dominator, and thirst for human blood, simply because of what they are and not because of what they represent. What will you do if you look in the full moon and here stands a vampire with fangs and bloodshot eyes in front of your door? What will you do? I don't know. Luckily, there
The
are
words
not
that's
yet.
coming out of my mouth won't.
Just let it be.
It's
I don't think you're going to outrun that one.
The internet and YouTube, among other media, have enough photos as proof that you can study. I would like to share my own experience with the real, partly shape-shifting vampire woman I met. Do you want to hear about it?
Yes.
This specific woman visited my consulting room a few years ago. She had the most beautiful eyes, but the experiences another world most of us never heard of. A very sad and hard to live life. And you know, she had this beautiful eyes, this beautiful, it's like a golden sand colored skin. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, she was born with 3 rows of teeth already partly fixed in her mouth. Secondly, her teeth were a mess, and her parents took her to a dentist to fix her mouth as soon as she was old enough to go to or to go through dental procedures. From her birth, she couldn't face a near to full moon. That is still the case with her up to today. Constant growing pain. She says you cannot believe how painful her whole body is the whole day as she slowly transformed, luckily for her, not into a complete vampire, but you know, her hair darkens as the moon grows. In other words, it's, let's say, a light shade, but during full moon it's dark, dark, dark. And then after the full moon, her hair lightens again as the moon declines. A week or so before every full moon, she starts craving for raw meat, and plenty of it, raw steak, etc. The bloodier the meat is, the better it tastes for her. Now, I've interviewed this woman a few times, and she didn't want to be known by the bigger public due to the fact that the government will take her in for tests, etc. She didn't want me to take a photo of her, and I will not go against her will. Her secrets is fine with me, etc., etc. I'm just very, 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 very out of my heart grateful towards her being able to share this openly with me.
Ernst, how many kinds of real vampires are there that you know?
Oh, you know, I'm talking now about 9, but there could be 9 million or 9 trillion of them. But there is another kind of vampire that I know, and I helped them. Plural. They were all young people that listen to this. Maybe you are one of those. Not that you can help it. Remember, never, if you find yourself to be something, don't be angry at yourself. You didn't create you, neither did you create the body you give consciousness to. The only thing that you can put on your own doorstep is the choices you made, but not in this case. You know, if you're a vampire, you know, what choice did you do to become a vampire? I mean, really, I'm not there yet. Maybe I will understand it one day. But they were all younger than 27 years of age, and to be specific is South Africa, and the only ones who came to me were Western European people with white skins. I mean, there's Indians among us, blacks, whites, red people, yellow people, you know, it's only the whites. I don't know why. Maybe in their countries there's others. They don't usually work. Why? Because they cannot face the light. It's too shiny for them. They live with their parents who must maintain their harsh lifestyle. And they've got a harsh lifestyle. They are night people. They party during nighttime and sleep in dark rooms during daytime. Not in coffins, luckily, but in beds. They don't like the sun or any other bright light. These people are pale white, and their eyes are staring at one point at most time. They eat minimal and are very skinny. They usually dress up in black clothing, long black jackets, etc. And this, you can imagine, is what I saw here, what I worked with my own hands and body or whatever. So yes, they drink blood at least once a week. Either their own blood or someone else's blood. A third teacup is enough. Now, how the hell do they get the blood? They take a little blade or something and they just do this and let it bleed into a cup until they have enough, and then they put something on there, and now the dinner is ready. Oh, yeah, I will go. Now, if you hurt yourself and you do this, this is fine, but to no, I will not. No, even the thought of it makes me. I didn't find them religious at all. I asked them because I'm honest and I want to know the most I can know about a patient or a person so that I can help him in full. You know, they do not speak much. If I ask, like I asked the one guy, do you believe in God? What is that? Have you ever prayed or did a prayer? What are you talking about? What's that? You know, so what if he tells you? Where did he grow up? His mother and father never taught him anything of gods or whatever. Which could be a part while there's demonic, because it is a demon, an ingrowing demon. You know, we discussed it in that program on demonology and stuff like that. I think we did it, or was it in this curses and I don't know, but it is somewhere. They do not speak much, you know, they will stand here and I have to do the speaking, or the speaking, and if I say, you know, you can really help me just by answering me, because we do it for research to help other people not to become like you. Then they will start, when they hear you want to help, they will start coming out with the truth. And in fact, it is a demon who did this to them, and it will take about 3 months to something, and you know, to get them off their paratos, bear free, all the necessities, and then I'm going to put a person like that on herbal smoking like marijuana. Why? Because during the sleep, he sleeps tightly, nothing, it will make him clear up. And you know, a lot of those people are on drugs, and if you will replace, you cannot take drugs away from a person. They will die. But if you take it away, you give him marijuana to smoke. The marijuana cannot kill him, but it gives the same effect as, you know, they are drunk or something. And in that way, you can, the body goes for the feeling and not for the stuff itself.
Yes.
So then you can get them off drugs and all that stuff. So this is what I learned here. They looked weird due to their pale white skin color and slow movements. while they were with me in any case. But before we go on, there's another few stuff that I can remember, information. The ones that I talk to, they didn't brush their teeth quite often. You can see it, if you look here between the teeth, you could see, it's just when last did this guy brush his teeth, or this woman. They've got girlfriends also looking at their hair. Is always, you can see, once a fortnight they will wash their hair, not like us every morning and sometimes in the evening as well. No, they don't like it at all. And you can see the skin also, you can see if the skin is washed or not. There's not dirt, but there's a lot of oil on the skin. And I wish I could, be a medical doctor to look for more, what is the late right?
More detail.
Yeah, details on how to identify them.
In the next program, which will be program Q, we are going to discuss a question in billions of Christians' minds. The question reads, where was God when this or that happened to me or somebody else? Another ancient wisdom secret will be revealed on this matter.
And before we go on, please out there, don't miss out of this program. You know what? Among Christianity, I found 10 out of 10 times, if a person is a Christian and his child is being killed by somebody else or so, you will always hear, where was God? Now, I'm not God, but I've got a big, very good answer for you, which will help you to overcome those hatreds that you start growing towards God, because it is hatred. I know about women, not only one, there's and even men, if their children die, they will sit here and they will become hysterically, I hate him, he took my child, they, if you knew such people, please, pardon, please advise them to look at this or share the program with them. Please do so.
Please don't miss out on it. If you had missed out on previous programs in the series, please catch up. Otherwise, you can experience troubles understanding new names, titles, places, and procedures.
So please help us to help others getting the information by pressing the subscribe, like, share buttons, as well as the little bell icon, so that you can be in line for more ancient wisdom secrets.
And remember what I said, we already know this. After you've watched this, you know it. Think of the other people in need of it also. And until next time, love and light to all of you. Bye!